This is the Black Cat, Deion Johnson, and you're watching Hashtag Truth with Scott Larson.
Cause we're always looking out for you. Always looking out for you. Always looking out for you. Always looking out for you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hashtag Truth. Tonight, we have the one, the only Tie-Dye James Johnson. Sir, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, man, I'm doing good, Scott. How about you, man?
I can't complain. My Redskins lost by a little bit, but they look pretty good today. Other than that, I'm in a good mood, man.
In good mood? Fantastic.
So let's start it off right, man. Mr. James Johnson, how did you get started in professional wrestling, man?
Oh, man, I feel like my story is pretty much, copy paste from everybody else's story. We were kids, we were watching on TV, and we just decided, this is something you really want to do, right? So you practice the moves on your siblings. You get horribly injured because you have no idea how to do them. And then, you get a little older and
Did you forget to put the mattress down?
brother, we didn't have a mattress to spare. I would have got whooped mercilessly if I would have ruined one of our good mattresses trying not to hurt ourselves or trying not to get hurt.
So you did the true backyard wrestling where you actually landed on the grass.
Oh God, it was so rough. My adolescence, it was amazing. But you get a little older and you get the ability to where you can look on this magical little thing called the internet and search out pro wrestling training schools. Who'd have thunk?
Right?
You mean
Gosh, the things you could find on the internet.
You mean people actually know how to do this and they're willing to teach you?
And afterwards, you get paid for it.
Well, some people get paid for it.
The good ones. How's that? The good ones.
Perfect. I'll take it. I don't know. Actually, now I'm thinking about it, I've got a group of friends that are real good at wrestling, and they just don't get paid. Hey, more power to them. That they don't search out
right off the bat, we got to start you off with a good one. Joey wants to know, who's your favorite unbookable and why is it Boomer Payne?
I wish I could just have a smart reply to that, but I actually really do love Boomer.
It's hard not to like somebody who takes his grandma's chain off and beats you to death with it, right?
Hey, he beat me to death with that grandma chain. Thank you.
That's what I said. It's hard not to like somebody who beats you with grandma's chain.
I love Boomer, man.
You gotta love him, man. Ricky says hi to everybody. How you doing, Ricky? Welcome to Hashtag Truth, man.
What's going on, Ricky?
But yeah, man. So who was your favorite wrestlers growing up, man? Like I told you before we got on here, man. I love your gimmick. I love the tie-dye, the different colors, the hippie part of your gimmick. Where did all that come from? What wrestlers did you watch growing up?
It's kind of funny. When I was younger, I was a really big Bret Hart guy, but as I got older, I became more of a Shawn Michaels fan. Like, even going back and watching the matches, I'd appreciate Shawn just a little bit more than I did when I was younger.
So you loved it when they fought each other during the big event that happened there at WWE, right?
Oh yeah, man, their matches together were always just so good. And thinking about the animosity they had for each other, the level of professionalism they had in the ring to go out there and put on that kind of a show was just
Yeah, they hated each other's guts behind the scenes. There was no doubt about it. But when they got in the ring, man, it was all let's put on a show and let's bring the house down. And they did that every time they got in the ring, man. That's what was so awesome about them.
Absolutely, that's how it should be. You know, these paying fans didn't spend their hard-earned money to see you just like really assault a man.
It's got to go back and forth. There's got to be some kind of, give and take. I can understand every once in a while you'll have a squash match, because it goes along with a storyline or something. But for the most part, us fans want to see a good fight, man. We want to see, good versus evil in there and meet in the middle of the ring and just, things collide and explode and things happen and eventually somebody comes out the winner, whether we like it or not.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, thankfully we've evolved in professional wrestling where a majority of the matches are, very competitive and everyone has a shot to win, as opposed to, in the 80s you'd see Razor Ramon come out and there's just a twiggy kid that weighs 100 pounds in the ring, and it's like, but I will say one of those twiggy kids got the upset on Razor and made a pretty good career out of it afterwards.
I'd say so because there's been a few people that's went up as jobbers into WWE and came out on the other end. Maybe not in the WWE, but in the Indies, man. I mean, George South
Yeah.
comes to mind. I mean, nobody can spit on George South's career. He's a big name. He wasn't really huge in WWE, but you speak of him in the Indies, man, and he's right up there at the top.
Oh man, I love George. George is one of my favorite guys to hang out with, honestly, and I know that's going to surprise a couple of people, but like,
Why would that surprise somebody, man? You got such a laid back. George South is a big time Christian. You're laid back, happy all the time. That don't surprise me one bit.
I don't know, man. To me, it feels like a lot of people have negative things to say about George, and I don't understand most of it. Like, yeah, he's old school, but listen to the reaction he gets in 90% of his matches. He knows how to get the job done.
The reaction he gets when he finally gets the jacket off, right?
Oh man, I wish he would milk it a little more. There was one time he had taken it all the way off, and he just had it, just the sleeve still wrapped around his wrist. And I said, I swear, if he whips it back on, then I'm just gonna lose my mind.
Don't put it past him, man. Don't put it past him.
I was hoping for it, but it wasn't to be on that night. He decided he felt like going at it at that particular moment. But
okay,
I
we
love
got
George.
Right, without a doubt, man. We got a couple of questions that are popping up here, man. People are starting to ask questions. I love that. You guys come on, like it says at the bottom of the screen, man. Be a part of the show, comment, and ask James Johnson questions because that's what this is all about. We want to get you guys included. So Randy says, what is your favorite promotion to work for?
Ooh. Oh, that's a tough one. Because I actually work for a few very high quality promotions right now, like between Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina. Been stretching out into Tennessee and Florida a little bit. I won't say that I have a favorite because they all
bring something to the table, don't they?
Yeah. All of their crowds are different and they all get me excited, in different ways. Like, I'm not used in the matches at Palmetto Championship Wrestling like I would be used at a PWX Pure or a Future Stars of AML or a Viral Pro Wrestling. It's like every experience is different, and that's what I dig about it. Shoot.
Now, here's a question that I'll bring off of this. You go to all these different states and you wrestle. Which do you prefer? Because I've seen you in both. Do you prefer singles or tag team wrestling?
Oh. That's God. These are really hard questions to answer because I'm just such a big wrestling fan in general. Like I love wrestling. I've been a singles a majority of my career, and I've enjoyed great success at it.
Right.
Uh, the- I've people have told me I'm just, and it's basically just because of the way I look. Like people connect with me because I'm an average looking guy, and I'm out there putting in work with people that look like superstars, like the Tracer X's, Drew Adler's, before he retired, Elijah Evans. Like I've been in the ring with some monsters, and it's
There's
never
no doubt
been.
about that. I'm going to kind of promote you a little bit. I've been on your Facebook page, and if anybody were to go on James Johnson's Facebook page, the wrestler page, and look down, my goodness, man, just match after match after match. It seems like you're always working, man. Do you actually have a shoot job outside of wrestling?
I do. I
You
unfortunately that
wow. Uh,
it
My next question would be: do you have
really.
any time for family, man?
I actually include my family on wrestling in most occasions because of how little time I actually have to myself. I work Monday to Friday usually, sun up, sundown. I do construction for a living. So by the time I get home, I'm dog tired and I try to spend as much time with them as possible. But at the same time, I've got to get ready for the very next day of work. And then sometimes I'm booked on Fridays. Like I'm booked this Friday at Future Stars of AML. Not entirely sure how I'm going to work that situation out right now. Might take the
It's
whole
got to
day
be
off
great to be
work.
loved, though. It's got to be great that all these promotions want you, man. That's got to be a great feeling.
It really is a great feeling because this is the year where the ball really started rolling for me. Um, I've been doing this particular incarnation of my character for about 2 years, maybe a little more.
Okay.
And at first, like, nobody wanted to take a chance on the hippie.
Well, it's been at least 2 years because I've been in this for 2 years, in indie wrestling for 2 years, and I've never seen a change in your character. So it's got to be at least
Oh,
2 years.
oh man, thank goodness you didn't see the other guy. Uh,
Every
I still
time
get
I've
called
seen you, you've been tie-dye James Johnson, and
the
I loved it, man. I loved it from the first time I ever saw it.
man the first gimmick I had was just so basic and generic. It was all black and red and uh a leather jacket, and I had this really cool face mask thing that I thought looked really awesome. But looking back on it, it's kind of like, I just wish these matches would be deleted.
So I'm guessing you didn't put a lot into that character.
uh,
I mean, as far as wanting
yes
to
and no.
keep it going and evolving from that, it sounds like you were kind of happy to change gimmicks.
It's a funny story about it, honestly, because when I had it, I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I thought I was the man. I thought I was good at wrestling. I was not good at wrestling. Uh,
At that time, you weren't, because I'll tell you, you are good now.
but at the time, I was more than content doing that for the rest of my career. Like I thought it was awesome. I came out to this really cool heavy metal song, and it's really funny. It's how I got my start back into professional wrestling. So I didn't really I had an attachment to it, but now that I don't have to do it ever again, I can look back and be like, wow, that was really, really stupid.
I've got plenty of shows where I've looked back and said, "Man, I was really stupid that day." So I can concur with you, man. I
Uh,
agree 100% with you. All right, let's get to a couple more of these questions, man. They're starting to build up a little bit. Chuck wants to know your top 3 definitive James Johnson matches.
oh, top 3 definitive James Johnson matches. I'm gonna go from 3 to 1. Um, number 3 And this isn't even because it was one of my best matches ever, but it defines who I am as a performer. I just wrestled PJ Ellis at Palmetto Championship Wrestling, and
Beast.
after the match was over, people were complimenting me on the way that I handled that match. And that's not to
Nice.
say anything negative about PJ at all whatsoever. And I know it came off sounding that way, but
No,
um,
what I heard was that, you're smaller than PJ. There's no, there's no denying that. And what I heard was you found a good way to combat a bigger man. That's what I heard.
that's exactly how I meant it. But as soon as it left my mouth, I was like, what? That didn't sound good. That didn't sound good to me at all.
It sounded
Um,
great to me, man. It sounded great to me. And trust me, everybody, I know I'm getting questions over here about the Haliatsko Memorial Cup. We are going to get into that. I promise you. We will get into that soon. I want to delve into who the man is first. Then we're going to get into his matches. I promise we're getting there. All right, number 2.
The silver medal goes to Elijah Evans. And it's basically just because at the time Elijah Evans was the PWX World Heavyweight Champion. He was the One Fall Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. And if you don't know One Fall Wrestling, they're in, I'm not going to say super close affiliation to AEW, but yeah,
there are connections.
There are connections. AEW takes a good look at their talent before they'll look at other people's talent.
Right.
Because they know that they're one of the, when they train somebody, they know they've been trained well, right?
Okay.
And they've been around for a while, I think. I'm
pretty sure if AEW is pulling from their pool, they weren't put up yesterday.
True.
I'm pretty sure. So somebody had to have done something for a little while over there to get that quality of wrestling talent, the pool that AEW has, to look back down and say, hey, we're going to pull from these guys. Somebody had to be doing something right for a little while.
Absolutely. But
okay, drum roll. Let's do this. Number 1.
Oh, come on. You're not going to let me talk about Elijah Evans?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I thought you were done. My bad.
The match meant a lot to me because me and Elijah went to war pretty much. Like, I hate the phrase "we went to war" because every wrestler uses it. You know what I mean? But the match started out with him slapping me, and I decked him in the face. Like, I don't know any other way to go about this. And I came up short against Elijah Evans because he is, even though he's retired, he can put the boots on at any point in time, and he would still be one of the best wrestlers on the East Coast. Anywhere any promotion he works for, he'd be a top guy. And then after the match was over, my trainer actually came out and he told me, like, face to face, there's nothing wrong with losing to a superstar the caliber of Elijah Evans. And he was proud of me for what we did in the ring. So, nobody has to give you an endorsement in front of a crowd of 300 plus people. So that match meant a lot to me. And now we can have a drum roll.
Okay, now the drum roll.
And my number 1 definitive match was against Drew Adler earlier this year. And it was the best match I've ever had in my entire life. Like, even like, I don't define a definitive match to be your best matches. It is who you are as a person, pretty much.
Right.
Like, this is essential viewing if you want to study James Johnson, right? This match with Drew was just from bell to bell. We worked hard, and a spot for the match actually got added to the SOS Custom Network intro.
Okay.
Which, like, to me, I was like, oh, well, that means we definitely did something right. And it was I gave Drew Adler a swinging neck breaker off the top rope.
Yes, I remember seeing that.
And it was like that was not the finish. We kept going. And even as
That- wow.
like, and it sounds silly because we were thinking, yeah, like you would assume you couldn't get them any higher than, swing a neck breaker off the top. But by the time we got to the end of the match, they were ready to like explode. Like they were getting so loud, they thought I had Drew beat. They swore up and down. I worked on his arm for 20 minutes, and I had him in an arm bar, and they thought it was over.
Wow.
Drew
So would it be the right thing to say that you and Drew Adler have a very good chemistry in the ring?
Oh, undoubtedly. We've had 2 singles matches against each other, and they were nothing like each other for one, which is always like I love wrestling people and doing different things every single time. I don't like having the same matches, right? Because it gets very predictable and boring. You're not pushing yourself and you're not pushing your opponent.
Geez, you just described every WWE match in the last 3 months. But anyway.
Oh, don't do that.
No, I wouldn't do that.
But you can't, that's not how you get better.
Right.
You'll have your one match you do, and then, especially this day and age, everybody videos everything. Somebody's got that match recorded, and they'll record another match you two have together. And if it's the same thing, then they're going to go,
oh, they'll call you out on it in a heartbeat.
Wow, you're lazy, blah, 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 right? Come on now. Like, all I'm saying is they can't predict your offense if you switch it up.
That is true. That is very true. It's always great, and especially when you wrestle the same person, that you don't wrestle them like every week. That there's time between your matches. You know what I'm saying? That will make it different because both of you will grow, with what you know in the ring and everything that's going on, and the matches become better and better because of that. At least that's the way my brain thinks.
I can agree to an extent, because another guy that was trained by the same guy that trained me, or the same people that trained me, there's more than one. We ended up wrestling each other like 20 times in a year, or some really obnoxious number, and a majority of them were singles one-on-one matches. It wasn't.
But like you said, it wasn't the same match over and over again. You guys, switched it up some.
We changed it every single time because we feel like people deserve it.
Right.
Like, you can pay money to see me wrestle this man one way, and then you will pay money the very next time, and if it's the same exact match and I give you the same exact match, you're not going to spend money there again. Like,
that is true. That is very true.
And the same strategies don't work the second time around. So you should probably switch your offense up occasionally, right?
Yep, just a little bit. I mean, that's and we're gonna talk about one particular person that's in the Haliotsko Memorial Cup and strategy on him here in a second. So let's get right into the Haliotsko Memorial Cup, man. Let me show the little let me show this right away. That way we'll see everything that we're talking about. I'll do the little spill on it coming up, and then we'll talk about your match.
All right.
We got the Haliotsko Memorial Cup coming this Saturday, September 14th, 2019, at the Forest City National Guard Armory. Doors open 6:30. Bell time is 7:30. It's an 8-man single elimination tournament. Only one person can win it. These are the 4 first-round matches. Man, let me tell you, these are some great matches. You can see down there in the lower right-hand corner that James Johnson's first-round opponent will be none other than ADD Jamie Lee.
Woo! Well, first, let's talk about how good looking those posters were. Trayton Bigelow does phenomenal work.
Yes, he does. Yes, he
I
does.
love his posters, and he's only gotten better with time. So
Yes, I love the poster, man. When I was first shown this poster back when they first made them, there was a change. There was a couple of participants that couldn't make it, from when they originally put the poster out, and they had to make a change.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, oh man, the poster's going to change everything. No, same great poster, same great image, the whole night. Man, I was just shocked and amazed. This is great work. He should be proud of it.
Phenomenal. Love
Gotta throw that out there, man. Gotta throw that out there.
Yeah.
So your first round opponent. Go ahead.
I just gotta show some love to my boy. That's all.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. Hey, if it's a great poster, it's a great poster. That'll bring them in just as quick as anything.
That's the truth.
But your first round opponent is ADD Jamie Lee. Now, very unpredictable, great competitor, can do it all on the ground, in the air. I mean, I've never. Now you talking about somebody who's never done two matches the same way. That's ADD Jamie Lee. So, what do you expect you're going to get out of ADD Jamie Lee this Saturday night?
It's kind of crazy when you think about it. Like, the idea of planning for somebody like Jamie Lee just seems like a real big waste of time. just solely based off the fact that, like you said, he's never had the same match twice. So it's not like studying his matches are going to give you an insight to any patterns that he may have.
Right.
Yeah, sure. He might do one or two things he's done in the past, but I'm pretty sure he's going to have so many new things he wants to try out on this poor little hippie. And I'm going to get blasted. Like,
I'm with Art Long on this one. Art Long said I'm going to be front row and eating popcorn during James Johnson's matches. That's me right there.
Well, brother, I hope I can give y'all a show worthy of the popcorn.
I'm not to put you on the spot or anything, but we did. Me and Gene Perry did an announcement of the Haliasco Memorial Cup 4 a couple months ago, or about a month ago. And you are my pick, brother. You are my pick to go through it all and win it all. So no pressure. I'm just,
I was there for the announcement. I was there.
They asked who I would pick, and I went through and you came up. As a matter of fact, I had you in the championship match versus Big Country.
Well, that would be interesting. That's my big brother. I can't say enough good things about Big Country. Like, when I was talking earlier about the old gimmick I used to use and the old way I used to do things, Country was there for that too. Country was my old tag partner.
Yeah. Now, of all 8 competitors that are in this, or should I say the other 7 competitors that are in this, what one are you looking forward to on down the line? I know you're not looking past ADD Jamie Lee. That's not what I'm saying. But if you were to get past ADD Jamie Lee, who would you want your next opponent to be?
Oh, man. If I remember, and I think, I believe I just watched the video. It was either last night or the night before, but Gene Perry actually broke down the brackets. So you would know based on who won the matches who you'd be wrestling in the next round, right?
Right.
So if I were to beat Jamie Lee, I believe, and Gene, if I'm wrong, please correct me. I'm sure you're in here somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
I believe I would be facing the winner of EWF heavyweight champion Austin Jordan and Chase Lovelace, right?
I
I
believe
think.
so.
And man, I've never had the opportunity to wrestle either one of those gentlemen. I've tag teamed with Austin Jordan before. Me and him made a pretty good tag team, actually.
So you know a little bit about him.
I know a little bit about Austin Jordan. Trained together a little bit, you know. We would have a killer match, but at the same time, you know, thinking about it, like, I feel like a lot of people are going to overlook Chase Lovelace on this one, man. I feel like they think this is going to be a breeze for Austin.
Now,
But
I don't think any of the 8. I don't think any. Let me even put them up here again. I don't think
please
any
do.
of these 8 matches are going to be a squash match. None of these 8 matches, even Chase Lovelace versus Austin Jordan. Chase Lovelace is an ex-Mid-Atlantic champion. I mean, he's held gold at EWF, so you can't just, you know, say he's just going to get beaten Austin Jordan because he's the EWF champion. And I love
Yeah.
Austin Jordan. Everybody knows I am one of Austin Jordan's biggest fans. But I do have him to I have him to beat, you know, Chase Lovelace. I think it's going to be a really good fight. I really do. I don't think Chase, and if Chase wins, more power to him, man. I'll eat my words and say you were the best man in the ring. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Agree 100%, actually. My prediction is Austin Jordan, just because I've seen what he can do in the ring, and he's the EWF heavyweight champion for a reason.
Right.
But if Chase Lovelace pulls it out against Austin Jordan, you got to think, you know, he's got to be in line for an EWF heavyweight championship shot, no matter what the outcome of the tournament is.
Wouldn't that be
Like,
something? Wouldn't that be something? And I'm not saying, again, I'm not saying it would be, you know, an underdog match. It's not. But if Chase Lovelace wins, you're right. I didn't even think about that. He legitimately can say, even if he loses in the second round, he can legitimately say, I beat the EWF heavyweight champion. You know, why ain't I getting a shot at this heavyweight title? So you are correct. I didn't even think about that.
Exactly. I mean, if you beat the heavyweight champion one-on-one, you know, that puts a lot of stock in the Chase Lovelace situation. You know what I mean?
Right. So
But
if it comes down to you, go ahead.
Either way, now that I'm thinking about it, the only person in this tournament that I've actually wrestled before is Big Country. So no matter who I wrestle in any of these rounds, it's a first time matchup for me. Unless,
so if it comes down to you and Big Country, how are you going to beat him? Because I had Chase Vallow on Friday night. Chase, listen to me say Chase. I had Chris Vallow on Friday night, and he would not give me an iota of a clue of his game plan of how he's going to beat. He said he's going to beat Big Country, but he wouldn't give me his plan. Are you the same way when it comes to fighting other competitors? If I say, hey, how are you going to beat this guy? Are you going to say, you know, wait and see when you get there? Or how would you take down Big Country?
It's so hard to plan for somebody Country's size. And not even just a size. Like, he's surprisingly quick. Like, the one time we went one-on-one, I almost had him beat. And he'll be one of the first ones to tell you he did pin me, but he did have to use brass knuckles back then. Like, but this is an entire.
So he had to use a foreign object to beat James Johnson?
Yes, at the time, but I can't overstate how much of a change Country's gone through in the last. God, that match must have been a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Like,
I got you.
He's got this whole new demeanor. He's got the fans behind him. He's been killing it in the gym. He's down a significant amount of weight, so that means he's even faster than the last time I wrestled him.
Right.
It's
no doubt.
It's scary to think about, but I didn't really have much of a plan going into the first match, honestly. And it's probably because during my entrance he sent me flying into the ring. Uh, uh, it's hard to plan midair, man.
Yeah, that's especially when you don't see it coming.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to send you that match. It was fun.
Oh, I will definitely watch it, man. You send me anything with you in Big Country in it, I'm definitely sitting there watching it. I might watch that about 5 or 6 times.
But like I said, I've got to change a lot of stuff I do with country because a lot of the moves I use to finish people, I have to pick them up. And I've never tried to pick up country before, but you know, it's not easy.
Now,
Even if it's
I said in that video with Chris Vallo, and I meant it. You want to wow me? Pick up Big Country off his feet. Pick him up. You want to get a pop from me? You want me to be louder than anybody in that building? Let me see you bring him off his feet in your arms and bring Big Country down. That would definitely get my attention. Because you would be the first one I have ever seen do that.
It's a possibility. I mean, I can't say I can't because I've never tried. And I mean, PJ Ellis is, I think, pushing 300 pounds. Is 300 pounds?
He's pretty close. If he isn't, he's pretty close.
I got him up on my shoulders. That's not to say I hit him with the
So are we hearing it here on #Truth that if you face Big Country, it's a possibility you're going to try to take him off his feet? Literally?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and
Oh, I love it. I love. There you go.
If I have a match with Country, I'm going to try to pick that man up.
I love that. You are definitely my pick to win it all.
I say it that way just because I feel like even if I don't hit him with my finish, which I'm not even sure I can hold him in my finish. I usually use a backpack stunner for a finishing move, and
okay.
I don't know if I could. I don't know
if you do a backpack stunner on Big Country, your stock will skyrocket, brother. You will get promoted. You will get promotions from everywhere in the world after seeing that video.
Oh God. I feel like I've backed myself into a corner on this one. But man,
while you're thinking about that, let's catch up on some of these, man. Let's see.
Oh, absolutely.
Art Long says I missed the lone wolf.
No. No.
Who is the no lone wolf?
No. That's the old gimmick, brother. Like I said at the beginning, I had so much fun with it when I did it, but honestly, when I made this switch, it was the best career decision, and honestly, it was the best mental health decision I've ever made. Being mad all the time was so stressful.
Oh, it is, man. Let me tell you, it is. Billy said, James Johnson, how are you, brother?
Oh, brother, I couldn't be better. Well, I could be better, but we won't go into that.
when we were talking about you and ADD Jamie Lee, Gene Perry said this match has the potential to steal the show. I agree.
Well, that's the goal, Gene. That's why you bring me in, isn't it?
Art Long says you won't beat Big Country. Oh, wow.
Hey, man. I'm not going to be everybody's pick, and that's fine.
Oh, this is why. He says, Father Darkness says, I love how everyone is forgetting I will be there. I will impact this show.
Well, Darkness, are you even going to be able to walk? Didn't Country break your back with a chair last night?
Oh!
I remember a whole lot of limping and complaining from you afterwards.
Joshua says he's looking forward to meeting you and seeing you live for the first time.
Oh, this will be his first time seeing me live. Oh, that's
Yep.
great. I love new fans. Like
That's
even if you decide you don't like me, I want the opportunity to change your mind.
There
So
you go. See, that's what I'm talking about, man. All these wrestlers, man, need to talk like you. I'm serious, man. If you don't like me, come watch me. Then you'll love me. That's just I love that.
I mean, I can't even guarantee that you'll love me, but I feel it's fair to give me an opportunity. Just like I give you the
You'll
opportunity
definitely
to
turn
love
some
me.
heads, won't you?
I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna try.
Without a doubt, man. So let's see. Let's look again at the one more time. Let's look at the other competitors that are in. We've got Eric Anton you could come up against later on in the tournament.
Yeah.
The Battle of the Erics. Eric Nuff. What do you think about if you were to face Eric Nuff somewhere down the line?
Oh man, I think it would be a very good match. Like I've seen Eric. Well, that's not very specific in that matchup, is it? Uh, I've seen Nuff a lot at EWF, former Mid Atlantic champion.
Another
I
former
believe.
Mid Atlantic, correct?
I've watched him defend it. I remember he and Adam Jackson went back and forth for that title for a while. Like those matches were very good. Like Eric Nuff he deserves to be in this tournament. Like
Yeah,
you can't
I
overlook
totally
him.
agree, man. I've always thought that Eric Nuff has always been looked over by a lot of people. Eric Nuff is legit. He comes in the ring. He's not much for razzle dazzle, but he goes in and he takes care of business, man. I mean that's what it's all about. He gets W's.
Absolutely. And I mean, I'm not saying I don't see any flaws in his game because I do. But I won't share those here because then he might tighten them up before Saturday.
There you go. That's what
But
I'm talking about.
but I feel like we would have an amazing match. And I'm telling you the same way I'd tell you if it were anybody else in the tournament. I think I'm gonna win.
So you've been in this tournament once before, correct?
Yeah, and there's a funny story there actually. uh, I met Gene right around the time I started doing this tie dye sunrise persona,
Okay.
and we met at a little place called NAPW, which they've since stopped running shows, which neither here nor there.
Okay.
But I had a match with a fellow by the name of Thomas Extreme,
Love Thomas.
and Gene had the most fun watching that match. And Gene had never seen me wrestle before. I don't think. He'd never paid any attention to me whatsoever. We passed a few times, shook hands, said hi, bye, and stuff like that. But after that match with Thomas, like we became close friends because he was very complimentary of the match and very complimentary of me as a person. And I love
Now,
Gene.
for people who don't know why he would pass Gene Perry at a bunch of matches and maybe shook hands and never really got Gene Perry, for all those who don't know, is a referee at a lot of
Yep.
at a lot of shows. So I'm just
Mhm.
for the first time viewers or whoever else is watching that don't know who Gene Perry is, that's why he would be running into him.
Absolutely. And Gene eventually, I think it was the year after I met Gene, he told me about the Holly Otsko Memorial Cup. And I had heard about it previously from Jacob Ryan because Jacob, I believe, competed in the first and second Holly Otsko Memorial Cup. And Gene informed me that he would like for me to be in that tournament last year. And I was all over it, man. I love Gene. He told me what the cause or the reason behind the tournament was, what the idea he had for it was, which, is not so much mourning Holly as it is celebrating the time we
Celebrating
did
her
have with
life,
Holly.
yes.
So I was right there. As soon as he told me that, I was like, oh, absolutely. Because that's how I believe we should go about these things. And I was so hyped up for this tournament, and it was actually, and another full circle story was I was supposed to wrestle Big Country for the Palmetto Championship Wrestling Heavyweight Championship, and I injured my back at work, so I wasn't able to wrestle him that night, and I had to take 2-3 months off of wrestling. And then my very first return match, I get cracked ribs. But
Boy, your luck isn't very good, is it?
At the time, it was horrible. I was just going through so much, and it was a really rough, trying period. But I refused to cancel that booking on Gene. I got the cracked ribs a month or two before I wrestled in that tournament.
Oh, wow.
And then I don't know who stooged it off to Thomas that my ribs were hurt.
Somebody passed the info along, huh?
Yep. And he was my first round opponent, and he kicked my legs out from underneath me, and I racked my ribs on the top turnbuckle, and I couldn't breathe. So I couldn't get back in the ring. That was the end of my first ever Haliotsko Memorial Cup.
Wow.
So I was a little disappointed in myself. But
now to be honest with everybody, to tell everybody, that was last year's Memorial Cup, correct?
Yep. And I didn't tell Gene about my ribs, so this is the first time he's hearing about it. He absolutely wouldn't have let me go in the tournament if he knew I had cracked ribs, so I just kept it on the hush-hush.
Uh-oh. That can get you in trouble sometimes, though.
I know it, but I was willing to take that risk at the time because.
But I like the lion in you, the gotta fight no matter what in you. That I like that part. That was cool.
It was a horrible idea.
But but you just can't. You just got to make sure that the information doesn't leak.
No, I don't know who would have told him, but somebody.
Look.
I knew it.
Gene's listening.
I know it. Sorry, Gene.
All right, man. We have got to the segment of the show that is my favorite segment. It has been since we've started it. I told you about it before we came on the air. Let me bring up the banner. It's called Name Drop. Yes, I'm going to drop 5 names to you, and you can do whatever you want to do with them. You can tell me they're good friends. You can shoot on them. Say next. Do whatever. First name, we've already talked about him a little while today. Why not hear a little bit more? Big Country is name number 1.
Oh, man. Country and I have had probably more history together than just about anybody in my wrestling career. He was there back during the old days, We were tag partners. We wrestled each other, or we were supposed to wrestle each other a few times. I was kind of a jerk back then, so I found ways to weasel out of it. Oh man, times change, right?
Now you want to get in the ring with Big Country.
Oh man, there's nothing I'd love more, honestly. He's one of my favorite wrestlers in the Carolinas and in Georgia, because I know he's wrestling in Georgia now.
Well, I'm predicting you and Big Country in the finals at the Haliotsko Memorial Cup. I hope that happens.
I hope you're right. 100%. I hope you're right, because there's no.
I will be marking out. I'm not going to lie to you. I'll be out there like a little girl. I'll do my impression that everybody likes to see so much. Yes, that would be me out there.
Nothing would make me happier than the chance to wrestle my brother for the Haliotsko Memorial Cup Championship. And that's just because I know no matter which one of us won, and whoever won would deserve it the most.
There you go, man. I love it, and I know Big Country watches the show, so I know he'll hear every word of that, and I'm probably sure he'll give you the same respect in return. I'm almost positive. Name number 2, Jacob Ryan.
Jacob Ryan. I have wrestled Jacob so many times. I've wrestled him in PCW, ACCW, GCW, some other show I don't even remember. We've tagged a few times. Like, honestly, he's such a good dude. Like, he like God, there's so much I can say about him because we spent so much time together. We've rode back and forth from Tennessee together.
So you would say he's literally one of your brothers that has traveled up and down the road with you, man. Is that
him a brother?
Yeah.
I call him a brother. Yeah, absolutely. Like, without a doubt, we've spent all this time in a car together. There's no other way to describe it, really.
Right? Right?
Brothers. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you know a few personal things about him, and he knows a few personal things about you outside of wrestling. I mean, you would call that a brotherhood, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. Like, you've got 4 hours on the way to Tennessee, 4 hours on the way back. There's not much to do but talk.
Right? That's it. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm pretty sure, you're not going to talk about your matches for 4 hours.
Brother, I try not to think about my matches most times.
See, there you go. There you go, man. That's what I'm talking about.
But Jacob's absolutely a brother. We've grown pretty close over the years. I know he's gone through some trials and tribulations over the past few years, and I've done my best to be there for him. And anytime I need anything, he's always right there in my inbox. So
every time I've seen him, he's got a smile on his face and he shakes my hand, man. What more can you ask?
Absolutely. Stand up, dude. Love him.
All right, name number 3. This one's kind of different, but I got to put out my brother. This is my brother that I'm going to put out there.
Oh.
Matty G.
Matty G. Oh, man. I love Matty. Like, I can't say, like, oh, we've been up and down the roads. He's my brother. But we've met a few times, and every time I've talked to him, we've both been very cordial, very polite to each other. We make each other laugh. He's just a good dude. Like,
right.
I feel like that's gonna be a theme because I remember you telling me you were going down my friends list looking for these names, and I try really hard.
The next 2 are good too. I haven't gotten any bad names on your list. I promised you, and I didn't do it.
I try really hard not to surround myself with any amount of negativity.
Right.
So,
right. Well, one thing I'll say about Natty. Listen to me say Natty. I can't speak today, man. I don't know what it is. One thing about Matty G that I love, and I will say this to anybody, that is the best dressed man in wrestling every time you see him.
Right. Brother.
He shows up, bow tie, the whole 9 yards, and he rocks a bow tie, brother. That man he's the only man on this planet that I know that rocks a bow tie. And that's not a joke. That's a compliment.
Oh, yeah. I've only seen 3 people wear a bow tie well, and he's one of them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Actually, now that I think about it, I believe, I'm not going to say in absolute certainty, but I believe Matty G actually sent me a gift card for a gas station because PJ Ellis and I had a tag team match against Jacob Armachain and Jake Jacobs. And
nice.
Our finish was I backdropped Jacob Armachain so high that PJ caught him into a powerbomb. And we won a contest with that clip, and he sent us both gas gift cards. I think I could be wrong about who actually sent them, but he was the one that let me know that I won it. So
Nice. So you won the clip of the week on the Sunday Spotlight, is what you're saying.
yes.
Nice. That is great. I love that.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
I didn't catch that. I must have. I usually try to hit every Sunday Spotlight. I must have missed that one, man. But man,
I wanna say
congratulations.
that might have been one of the first ones they did, because I don't think they actually put it on the spotlight. I don't
Okay.
think.
Okay.
I again could be wrong. It's been a while. It really it's been.
But just to win something like that from an organization like 3 Count and Matty G and the
Oh,
Sunday Spotlight, man, that's great.
it meant a lot to me. I was so thrilled.
That means a lot of people geeked out for that wrestling spot.
Oh yeah. I remember a bunch of people sharing it, and somebody was like, "Hey guys, you want to see a dead body?" And I was done. I died. It was. I'll have to send
And
that
you
clip
couldn't have
too. I
picked a
don't.
better person to do that to than Jacob Armachain. I mean,
Oh, he was
nothing
not
bad
great.
about. I love Jacob Armachain, but he's what 50 pounds soaking wet.
Oh, he's like
He
saying
is.
that with
Oh
the way
no,
that he's
great
been
wrestler,
acting.
great guy. I mean, I can't wait till he starts winning belts. But I mean, as far
Exactly.
as getting air for some, if you're gonna kick somebody and get air and do something really
Yeah.
cool, he is one of the guys you want to have. That you're doing that to, because he sells greatly. Let's just put it that way. He is a
Most
great
definitely.
seller.
Most definitely. He's just a good kid all the way around, and I know it sounds like that with the way he's been acting at 3 Count with you know, Jesse Barton, Sammy Ray, and oh god, I screw his last name up so bad, but Oglesby? Is that how you say it?
Ogle Lesby. You're getting
Is
me to
it?
do it now.
Okay. I love him to death, and I told him the first time I met him, I was like, I'm never gonna get your last name right.
Right? I don't think
So
I've got it right. I said Ogle Lesby. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
But all
But
right.
he's genuinely a good kid. Like he wants
Oh
to
yeah. All the way
wants to
around,
do
man.
better. I love him.
Without a doubt. Okay, number 4. The man who's running the Haliatsko Memorial Cup, Gene Perry.
Oh God. I love Gene. Like that's the answer to all of these so far. I just he's such a good dude. Like, and that's
Right,
another thing I've said on all of these, but
right,
Gene he genuinely wants better for the performers in the area. Like there was a period of time when like there was nobody that would push talent harder than Gene. And I think going just as
right.
hard now. I received it as much lately, just based solely off the fact that the success has slowly been coming in for me. So he hasn't had to put as. But that's not going to say I
Well,
don't
let
like
me
him
let me
anymore.
let me lay that to
I
rest.
know there's
Gene Perry is probably one of the hardest working refs in the industry today,
most
and I'm
definitely.
not even joking, man. He's reffing all over the place. I check his page out just as much as I do any other wrestler's page, and that's not a joke. And that's not a joke at all. I click on there to see where he's reffing, who he's reffing, what organization he's in. Because Gene is all over the place, man. And like you said, he's one of them guys, even though he's a ref, he's bringing everybody up with him.
Absolutely.
And I love that about Gene. And
And
I can't
honestly,
say enough nice things myself about him.
as many places as he works now, he should be working more. He's very underrated to me. Um, I've only had him ref one or two of my matches, but he's able to be in the ring with. He's never
right?
been.
I
Maybe
say this, and he kind of gives me a crooked look when I say it, but he's got the best blind eye in the business.
God bless him. Hey, brother, I got a blind eye too.
No doubt, no doubt about it. Well, we've got just a couple minutes left, so let me get to name number 5. You know it because I already told you,
All right.
Mr. Ethan Case.
Oh, I hate him. I'm just kidding.
Finally found one you didn't like.
God bless that man. He's like, if I can't give him sole responsibility for how well my career's gone, but he's definitely 1/3 of the equation because, like I told you, it was him built to self-destruct Billy Brash and Malachi Matthews that trained me this very last time I got trained, because I got trained a couple times beforehand and they were not good. Those 3 men got a hold of me and they helped me along. I honestly, like, it's been my first actual weekend off in so long. And it was something I wasn't upset about because I've been going really, really hard and I want to make sure that I'm 100%.
Well, let me thank you. Let me thank you for taking time out of your weekend to be on Hashtag Truth, man. Seriously though, we've been trying to get you on the show for quite a while, and this weekend I guess fell open for you, and you said yes to me and my producer.
Absolutely.
And man, I can't thank you enough because I have been a big fan ever since I saw you. I saw you last year at the Haliasco Memorial Cup. I saw you in a couple of other places. And I just love everything about you, man. And I hope you stay well. I hope you stay healthy. I hope you win a lot more belts. And keep the gimmick going, man. Because how do you do it with your fingers like this?
Yes, sir. That means peace.
Okay, like that.
You get a peace sign.
That
and the L right there makes love.
There you go. All right. See, I love it, man. And if you guys have not seen it yet, go on my page. I think I put it on my page. I'm pretty sure I did. The promo that James Johnson cut for the Haliasco Memorial Cup. You're gonna love it. Trust me, it is awesome. No, it's awesome, dude. I love it. I love it. He's being modest, folks. He's being modest.
Stop it. But man, I really appreciate the forum you put forth for people like me to come on, and even people with lesser of a platform than what I've been able to wrestle on, to actually come on here and, you know, have time to talk and let people know just man, not a lot of people would do that. And I know sometimes you get in hot water with one of my favorite human beings, David Cody. And I know
me and David love each other. We love to go back and forth. You are true.
I know it. I know you've made good old Brian Kanabrowski bang his head on his desk a few times, but brother,
I love Brian too. I told Brian I was going to get him on the show. All I had to do was make him bang his head on his desk.
Sometimes that's all it takes, man. You just gotta frustrate him enough to show up.
That's basically what I did. I played stupid until he came on.
I love it.
But seriously, man, go ahead.
I'll say just a little bit more about Ethan. I went off a little bit without thinking, because I didn't really get to do the question. Like, I thought I ended up going on a tangent about just my training in general, but just specifically Ethan, as opposed from my other 2 trainers, which all 3 of them are 3 of the best wrestlers that you can find. Like, They bring up everybody they wrestle. Ethan Case has been one of the most entertaining wrestlers in the Carolinas, in Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, well, pretty much anywhere he chooses to wrestle at for years now. Like, I can legitimately go back and tape study Ethan Case from 5 years ago, and it's still like he was ahead of the curve. He's doing stuff that is just now getting popular now. Like,
Wow.
he understands how the business works. He understands that while yes, the in-ring is important, it's also the least important. I know that sounds so stupid. Honestly, the least important in wrestling is wrestling. And like, clearly he's very good at wrestling. But he's also just a super entertaining individual, right? Like, Ethan Case has charisma for days. At the last Haliotsko Memorial Cup, he had Jamie Lee in the first round. I think he was first round.
Yep.
As soon as he came out, there was an old lady flipping him off because she thought, oh, well, we like Jamie Lee and we know you're going to cheat. And Ethan was like, I've known Jamie Lee for like 12 years.
Didn't he sit down next to her and try to convince her that he was a good guy too, and it just didn't work?
Sat down right next to her and calmly explained that he and Jamie have been friends for 12 years. I might be off by a few years, but I think it was 12. And he's like, okay, well, since I can't convince you, you just watch this whole match. I guarantee you I won't cheat once.
There you go. And they did. They had a spectacular match, and he won without cheating.
And by the end of it, she was a fan. And
do you know that same old lady still comes to every EWF show and does that to all the bad guys?
I wouldn't put it past her. I can't wait to get flipped off because I'm wrestling Jamie Lee. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to my life. But yeah, Ethan is very.
It's gonna be a great tournament, man. Ethan, by the way, won the tournament last year. We haven't even said that yet. Ethan Case won Haliotsko Memorial Cup 3, and his name is on the trophy, and that's what everybody is including yourself, is shooting for this Saturday night. It's going to be a great tournament, man. And like I said, you are my pick to win it, and I can't wait.
Little known fact is Ethan Case's dad, Super Law, was the first ever Haliotsko Memorial Cup winner. So, Super Law won. Ethan Case won. It would only make sense for James Johnson to pull one out for the Case family. Right. I've told
and maybe Haliotsko Memorial Cup 5, we could have both of you guys fighting each other.
Hey man, why not all three? I heard Super Law's been putting the tights on a little bit more recently.
Oh, see, that's what I'm talking about. Get all the old winners back in it.
I've seen a few pictures of him slapping a wrist like Mike. So I'm just saying. Triple threat between old Super Law, Ethan Case, and James Johnson might not be a horrible. But
no, not at all. Dexter Myers said, "This is my dude."
Oh, I do what I can, Dexter. I do what I can.
Chris and Andy said, "Hey, James Johnson, love following your work. Hope to see you in action one day."
One of these days. Chris? Was that Chris? Yeah.
Chris. Chris is saying that.
Okay. These joint accounts, and they confuse the life out of me. I never know who I'm talking to.
Me and my wife did that for the first year that we did Facebook, and we couldn't do it no more. We just couldn't. We had to separate. And now that I'm doing this, she's proud we're separated.
Oh man.
I went from like 50 people on my friends list to almost 3,000 now. So yeah, she's happy
Yeah.
that she's not
Yeah.
she's not on the same page.
Oh, that would drive my wife insane. I get the weirdest messages sometimes. Like, oh, it's not all glitz and glamour. Sometimes it's just really strange.
Oh yeah, we need to sit down Saturday night and discuss weird messages we've got since we've been doing this.
Absolutely.
I'll put mine up
Absolutely.
against yours any day, man.
Oh, brother. We'll each bring one example, and we'll see. If
Okay,
this works.
that sounds good. That sounds good. I already have mine. I had my
I
top
think I'll-
10 already planned.
I think I've got mine. I have to see if it's still on Instagram.
Isaiah Wright said, "Hey, buddy, I just want to get these out before I don't want them to say that I didn't do it."
Oh yeah,
Isaiah
we
said
haven't done
hi.
much of it. I've been talking a lot. We haven't done much of these comments.
They
I'm sorry.
believe it or not, everybody's been listening and not chatting. So yeah, every
Okay.
one of them except for a few has went up. So everybody wants to hear what James Johnson has to say, especially when it comes to the tournament. Now, I mean, everybody's placing their bets on this Haliasco tournament. You know how the brackets are out there. We're doing like the basketball tournaments. We're filling out our brackets and we're putting our bets in and we're getting ready to go, man. This Saturday at the Forest City National Guard Armory, you're going to see a lot of brackets. You're going to see a lot of people crying after every match, because their bracket ain't going to make it.
Well, I hope that's not the case, but if your bracket doesn't work out and you're crying, I do give out free hugs at the merch table. I'll hug.
There you go.
you.
There you go. I might have to take you up on that offer.
I mean, I'm hoping that you're not crying.
If either one of the Unbookables win any matches in this tournament, I'll be at your table looking for a hug. I'm just saying.
Oh, that's not fair. Don't worry.
Hey, now
Even
the
if they win, they gotta come
Unbookables,
to me at some
the
point.
Unbookables have done some pretty raw things to me, so I have to give it back to them. They give it to me, I give it back. It's neutral.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Hey,
All right,
hey,
man. It
That's
was
cool.
fun, man. I appreciate it, James Johnson. You always have. You can always come to #Truth. Come on here and tell us what you're doing, where you're going. We didn't really delve into where you're going after the Haliasco Memorial Cup, but we will definitely catch back up with you to find out, man. It was a
Most
pleasure.
definitely.
I hope you enjoyed it.
Oh, absolutely, man. It was, like you said, it was a pleasure. This has been very easy. You're not overbearing. It
I
was
try
fun.
not to be. I try to ask good questions. Did I ask good questions?
Absolutely. We gave
Okay.
Gene Perry a heart attack. I'm not sure there's much more we could ask for than that. You know what I mean?
There you go. Speaking of Gene Perry, let's make him happy one more time. The Haliasco
There it
Memorial
is.
Cup 4 will be coming this Saturday, September 14th at the Forest City National Guard Armory. Doors open 6:30, bell time 7:30. It's $5 at the door. All proceeds will go to benefit the Hospice of the Sacred Heart, where that's who helped take care of Holly in her last days. And it's a great place. $5, man. You're going to get to see an 8-man elimination tournament. All 8 men deserve to be the winners in this tournament. And I mean, look at these 8 guys. You got the EWF heavyweight champion. You've got Tie-Dye Sunrise, Big Country, 2 Unbookables. Eric Nuff, who used to be a Mid-Atlantic champion. You've got ADD Jamie Lee, who's held titles all over the place. And, well, yeah. Well, and then you got Chris Vallo, who was just on Friday and did a great job. So he's looking forward to going up against Big Country. This is going to be a huge tournament, folks. And let me tell you, it's up for grabs. Any of these 8 guys can win it. You're just going to have to show up to see who does. My bet is on the man I'm interviewing right now, but everybody has the choice. We will see you there. And it's going to be a great time because James Johnson's going to win it. And that's the
Yes,
#truth.